What's good, Coach Colin back with ShotMechanics Basketball. In today's video, I'm gonna give you 5 Kobe Bryant scoring secrets that you need to add to your game. Now, Kobe was one of the greatest scorers in the history of the NBA, and he had 5 very specific secrets that if you implement into your game right now, you can score more baskets tonight. So the very first secret is what we call top foot attack. You'll notice in a lot of Kobe Bryant clips, anytime he catches the ball and he starts assessing, a lot of times his eyes come down, right? And a lot of coaches will tell you like, hey, don't put your eyes down. You gotta see your eyes up so you can pass the cutters. That's what peripheral vision's for. You can still see up here. I can still read the pad. I can still see the basket even though my eyes are down, right? So what you'll notice is Kobe's eyes are down because he's reading the defender's feet. Specifically, he's looking for the top foot to attack. Most of the time when a defender's here, and they're guarding the ball straight up, let's say the ball's Kobe Bryant, if they're guarding, anytime Kobe begins to give a jab or a pump fake or a little shimmy, whatever it is he's trying to force the defender to drop a foot. Because as soon as the defender gives a top foot, that is an absolute weakness that Kobe Bryant was looking to exploit. And so essentially the whole idea is if you can get a top foot to attack, let's say the defender gives a top foot on this side, if I can get my foot by his, I've already won the battle. At that point, the defender is behind, they're reacting, and if you have the skill level of Kobe, it is absolutely over. So for you, all you gotta do is start paying attention to the defender's feet and looking for that top foot, right? So let's say he gives me a top foot that's on the baseline here, I'm gonna attack to the baseline because that's what's gonna get his hips to drop open, and I'm gonna get so much space. So start watching feet, start looking for top feet, and I promise you, you'll beat more players off the dribble. Now the second Kobe Bryant secret, multi-directional jabs. Now here's the thing, most players use jab steps, right? They know it's a move they need to do, it's pretty easy, it's pretty effective, it's great, right? But the thing is most players only jab doing one way, which is basically this. This is kind of the tried and true classic downhill jab step. If you watch Kobe Bryant, he utilizes his jab steps in multi-directions to try to shift the defender's hips, to try to shift their feet in specific directions. And he almost plays chess with it rather than checkers, right? A lot of players will be like, I'm gonna jab just for the sake of jabbing, and I'm gonna drive. If Kobe looks in the backside of the floor and he sees an opening to the right side, he might not necessarily jab to the right, he might jab to the left to try to slide his defender that way to open up the space where he wants to attack to. Right? So not only does he have multi-directional jabs, but he's actually thinking about what's the next move after the jab. So once you master this as a player, it becomes very easy to actually score more points because you're essentially just moving the defender out of the way from the space you want to get, right? Let's say I want to get into my step back going this direction, right? I'm feeling hot, I'm ready for it. I might jab out to the side to move my defender sideways rather than downhill so I can get lateral separation away from them to knock it down. So what you want to do with your jab steps is number one, work on catching the ball on 2 feet. Because if I can catch it off of 2 feet as much as possible, I could jab with this foot, I could jab with this foot, I could jab cross, I could come back and jab across this way. So if you catch 2 feet, it opens up a ton of options. Huge play for Kobe Bryant. But what you want to think about is jabs can go any direction. I can do a downhill jab, I can do a shallow jab, I can do a side jab, and I can do those same things on the opposite side. So master the multi-directional jab. It's gonna be a lot easier to manipulate your defender and score more points. All right, so the next Kobe scoring secret is what I call the leg counterbalance. Now, Kobe was one of the best pull-up and shot creators of all time. And one of the main reasons why is because he actually uses his leg as a counterbalance to be more on balance, even if he's in these kind of tough situations. So here's what I'm talking about. A lot of times we know Kobe's got that kind of vintage one dribble pull-up where he's going hard and he's fading into it, right? Or maybe it's the thing where he's caught it in the post and he's going away and he's fading. You'll notice that on most of Kobe Bryant's pull-ups like this, his right leg will actually drift out in front of him, almost like a cat's tail to kind of get like a balance as he goes up. So think about this, anytime you're trying to drive, anytime you're going hard into a jump shot, don't be afraid to let your right leg or your dominant leg drift just slightly, just make sure it goes towards the basket. Because here's the key, if you try to do your counterbalance, and I'm pulling up, but I let my leg drift way out this direction, that's where it's gonna twist my body, it's gonna contort, and it's actually gonna be a negative in my jump shot. Instead, anytime I'm going up hard into it, I wanna let that leg drift towards the hoop, and if I can keep it on a straight line towards the hoop, that's gonna keep me balanced, it's gonna keep my shoulders on balance, I'm gonna be able to knock down the shot. So really work on a counterbalance, but only if you're in a heavy, hard movement going into the jump shot, right? So you don't wanna do this on like a normal catch and shoot, you don't wanna do it on like a normal pull-up. This is like a very tough full speed situation, which is one way you can score more points because you can get more opportunity. Now the next Kobe Bryant scoring secret that not very many players use is what's called the split catch. We're all taught that when we're playing basketball, we're supposed to be like 1950s, catch like this, 2 feet in the air, boom, in perfect position. It doesn't really work like that. If you watch the best scorers in the world, and especially Kobe, a lot of the times when he catches the ball, he's doing what we call a split catch, which is as the ball comes and he catches, he's splitting his stance with his back leg loaded, ready to explode. So the whole point of this is you're much more quick out of the catch, right? Think about how the defense plays. A lot of times they're rotating, they're sliding, they're moving around. If they're in help side and they're coming to guard me now really hard, if I catch like this, and then I load, and then I go, it's a much slower movement, right? Basketball is an attack and react kind of game. So as the ball comes, if I split catch, I can load this back leg, I can rip, and then all of a sudden I'm blown by the defender before they even have time to set up. So just like Kobe, work on split catching a lot. It doesn't matter if you're coming off of pin down screens like this. It doesn't matter if you're doing a flare where you're catching like this. You want to start working on split catching in as many situations as possible because it makes you that much more dynamic of an offensive player. All right, the next scoring key that Kobe Bryant used all the time was the power of pivoting. You probably have heard that Kobe was like one of the best footwork players of all time, right? And pivoting was a huge aspect of that. So think about it like this. Anytime you're looking to pivot in a situation, let's say I'm driving baseline and I'm coming to a jump stop, right? So I can pivot on either foot. A lot of players think that there's some secret rule that you can only pivot once. So I see players a lot that are like, pivot once, pass. Pivot once, try to shoot, right? The key is you can use 2 pivots. You can use 3 pivots. There's no rule that says you can't use 4, 5, 6, or 7, right? And so a lot of times the second and or the third pivot are the one that get devastating results. So think about it like this. If I come in here, I can pivot across to shift the defender, right? If they don't go, I can step through and finish. It's not a travel, look up the rules, right? If they read in there, I can rip back, and then I could shoot a fade. I could step through, I could pivot again here, and I could shoot a fadeaway jumper. If I step through and they're still here, and they read this fade, I can step towards the hoop and finish with a layup. So really focus on using as many pivots as possible because a lot of times it opens up the entire court, even if you don't actually get a bucket. Think about it like this. If I come through and maybe I pivot, don't have it, and then I step through, this may open up a passing angle that I didn't have before. It may open up other options to pass to teammates on the opposite corner or whatever it is. So think about using multiple pivots. And I find 2 to 3 are kind of the magic number to really open up the offensive floor. So just like Kobe, you can utilize that to your advantage. All right, don't forget, if you want to shoot like a pro, you got to train like a pro. So go ahead and hit the link in the description down below. You can get free instant access to the Pro Class Pro shooting back. This is a shooting workout that's put together by some of the best athletes on the planet, guys like Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, CJ McCollum, just to name a few. And it's going to help turbocharge your jumper immediately. So go ahead and pick that up because it's 100% free. All right, you know what to do. If this video helped you out, hit the like button. If you're new to ShotMechanics, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell notifications. We put out videos every single week and they're all gonna get you better. I guarantee it. All right, again, I'm Coach Colin Castello from ShotMechanics Basketball. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, splash on. Buckets! Hey-oh!